So let's have a look on the Silver Eagle panel. So here in the middle we have the PFD, the Garmin TXI, with a split screen, but you can also make a full screen out of it. But typically I leave it with the split screen that I have immediately here, also the map on the first view. The standby attitude indicator, which is directly correlated with the barrow. So if I'm turning here the barrow, here it changes the barrow here, and at the same time the barrow on the standby. So just one button to adjust the barrow. Then the switches are readjusted for the flow. So typically on the 210 you have switches here. On the downside they're not there anymore because they're not in the view, in a good angle of view. So all the switches are here on the left side, with the flow from left to right or from right to left on start and landing. You have taxi and landing, you have ignition and P2 heat. You have then here all the switches for de-icing, inlet heat, prop, the boots and the windshield. And then you have here the other lights. You have the de-ice light, you have the strobe light, which is typically on, and the nav light, which is also on. So we see here all the switches, which are also illuminated, so you can see if it's on or off. So here we have all which is related to the cabin. You see here cabin attitude, and you can see if change in the cabin attitude. So and here all the switches related to the cabin would be there, and here you can adjust the cabin attitude. So here in the middle you have the autopilot, the SEC 3100, with a very nice function which is indicated speed climb. So that's very, on the Garmin 1000 it's called flight level change. Here it's indicated airspeed. Vertical speed is clear, and it has a level button, which is the safety button. So if you might go into a spin, pressing the level button might adjust the plane out of a spin. And here you have the control unit for the TXI. Typically here on the TXI, if you don't have it, if you want to go on heading or altitude, you have to to work with this button and then go for let's say an adjustment here. If you have it here, you have it like on an airliner. You have here all the buttons, and it's directly connected to the TXI. So changing here has an influence on the TXI and over the TXI to the autopilot. Here you see the GTN 750 and the GTN 650, where you can work with your flight plan, whatever. You can put all those data in. You have the procedures, and so that's in fact the navigation units you might have here, and here you have then transponder. The question was, why do I need a transponder here? It's also integrated in fact here in the GTN. Personally, I like it more to have it here separately and to press immediately the buttons, but that's more a personal preference I have. Here you have all the fuel systems with the fuel pumps. You have 5 tanks in the Silver Eagle, so 2 main tanks, 2 tip tanks, and 1 centerline tank. And here you may adjust which pump should work and transfer the fuel from let's say, the specific tank into the main tanks. Yeah, and here on the right side you have the engine instrument monitoring system, where you have, let's say, the main data is here on the main screen, and you have then other screens with also, let's say, here the display of the other tanks, and fuel screen with fuel level. You have two ways of getting your fuel data out of the fuel level or out of the fuel flow. So, and typically they should be close one to the other. Here on the right side, on the co-pilot side, there is an Aspen, an AFD, and a standby transponder. So, and of course there are also integrated systems here with weather, with a storm scope on one hand, and on the other hand also radar, which gives you then relevant information. You can also overlay the radar on the map, so that you might have the picture of the airplane, the map, and at the same time also the radar display on it. So that's in a nutshell the cockpit of the Silver Eagle.